Well, I think it's 4:30.
Have we got everyone?
Yep.
Yes.
And we are recording. All right. You want to call a roll, Jeff?
Commissioner Martin,
Present.
Commissioner Shelton,
Present.
Commissioner Abbott,
Present.
Commissioner Kiesling,
Here.
Commissioner Langley.
Here.
All right. And
I don't see you on here. Are you mute? On off?
I don't have my camera on, Eris.
Okay.
I have chess club and basketball practice and soccer practice tonight, so I'm multitasking.
Okay,
You're
stay
practicing
safe.
tonight.
Yes.
so that we have the 5 voting members present and the school board representative is not present.
Okay.
And if he shows up, we will make a note of it.
All right. Let me get back to my agenda. First item on agenda is our TIF revenue pledge resolution for the Hunter Valley Road project. Jeff, you want to lead this?
I will lead this. I will also say Greg Garataj and Bruce Donaldson are both on the call. Bruce is the bond counsel on this, and Greg is the financial advisor. So this resolution pledges the TIF revenue for the State Road 46 economic development area, the 46 TIF. It excludes the first 2,500 we receive each half of a year, and that's consistent with the previous bond where we retained 5,000 to make sure we could pay the expenses of the district, such as the annual report costs.
Right.
So that's included in the resolution. It's fairly short and straightforward. Other than that, is that in that we will pledge the remaining of the TIF, the payment of those bonds, and that if there's not enough, there's not enough, and there's no other pledge associated with it.
I had one comment. The way this reads, the first 2,500 would be included in what we would pledge at the second one because there's no cumulative number.
Yeah, that's in paragraph 1 after the now therefore section.
Okay.
Well, it says you exclude the first 2,500 semi-annually and such tax instrument revenues excluding the 2,500 semi-annually. And then but at the next semi-annual date, I'm only excluding $2,500 still. It doesn't say that at that point in time, there'll be $5,000 available.
Yeah, it could be that you just add a little thing after the TIF revenues and then the end friend that says for an annual total of $5,000 or something to that effect.
Right. You need to make sure that we don't end up with just 2,500. Does that make sense to people? I understand what you're.
It makes it certainly clear that that's what we want. I'm not sure we need it, but it doesn't hurt anything to put
Right.
it there.
Right. I just don't want anybody to argue about it later.
Bruce, are you fine with that addition?
Yes, sir.
And then would you also need to adjust paragraph 3 because it also says the avoidance of doubt, the first 2,500 semi-annual received by the commission from tax increment revenue generated from the allocation area are not pledged to the payment of the bond.
Right.
So it again sounds like, so maybe you could say something like for the avoidance of doubt, the $5,000 collected annually or received annually, or so however you want to do it is not pledged.
Yeah, you could just do it in part 3 there.
I would suggest in 3 that it would, and subject to Bruce Donaldson's nodding his head and agreeing, that I would put for the avoidance of doubt, the first 2,500 semi-annually for an annual total of 5,000 received, or comma received, by the commission, I would do it that way because I think we
Yep.
only want to acquire it 2,500 semi-annual.
Right, that's fine.
That's great.
Bruce, you good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So have you written that out someplace or do I have to write it out?
I have it written on my sheet that at the end of the first paragraph, we're going to add for an annual total of 5,000, and then adding after semi-annually for an annual total of 5,000. In number 3.
Right.
How did you have the number 3 worded now?
For the avoidance of doubt, the
Yep.
first 2,500 semi-annually,
Right,
parens for an annual total of 5,000, end parend, received by the commission from tax increment revenues generated from the allocation area, are not pledged to the payment of the bonds and may be used by the commission for any purpose permitted by law.
okay. I just wanted to make sure that I had modified mine to, so when we have something I can say as this. Okay. Any other
Okay.
questions, comments?
If there's not, I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2021-05, pledging the tax increment revenues for the bond for the Hunter Road Extension Project,
Okay,
subject to the changes just made.
all right.
All right, I second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2021-05 as delivered to us with the modification in clause 1 to add for an annual total of $5,000 and an insertion in clause 3 after semi-annually, paren for an annual total of $5,000, close paren. Jeff, would you take the roll for the vote?
Commissioner Martin,
Yes,
Commissioner Shelton,
Yes,
Commissioner Abbott,
Yes,
Commissioner Kiesling,
Yes,
Commissioner Langley.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 5-0.
okay. Residential TIF, did you get some more information by chance? I didn't see any in the packet.
There wasn't any in the packet. I got some information from the assessor's office, I think this morning or late last night. And I had to go through it for the new housing constructions in both Richland Township and Bloomington Township for the years 2019 and 2020.
Right,
From that information, the Bloomington Township appears to have a single family growth of 0.02%,
mhm,
or 0.2%. Yeah, 0.2%. Gotta
Right.
work with this. And the Richland Township annually would be 2%. So those are both annual things. The statutory limit's 1%. So I think focusing on Bloomington Township makes a whole lot more sense if we're looking at that North Park area.
right.
So
Now, doesn't North Park it has some Richland Township in it, right?
the very northwest
Corner.
corner
Okay,
is in Richland Township.
okay. All right,
So that was part of the residential TIF. I'm still working. Jared and I have been also doing the precinct and district boundary committee. So he's been using his map skills quite a bit there. So we haven't quite gotten the maps to a point where I think they're usable.
Okay.
And show great information, but we're working
Right.
on it.
okay,
And that committee's real work concluded on Monday. So hopefully
Right.
we'll have something better and out to you guys soon.
okay.
I asked Bruce Donaldson to stick around because he's working on other residential TIFs. So if you guys have any questions, he may be a good resource at this point to
Yeah, I
ask.
think one of the things is that in the North Park area that we would be considering is already a TIF district, but
Mhm.
it does have an ability to have a residential component to it. And we didn't quite, I mean, I don't quite understand how that part of it works out in terms of bonding authority and what we collect TIF revenue on, et cetera, in that particular district. Do you have any more information on that to help me understand how that might work?
The usual way to handle that, and by the way, the Department of Local Government Finance, the DLGF, got a bill passed last session that says you may not have two TIF areas overlapping in the same area. So if it did not impair outstanding bonds, you could go through the process of excising your residential TIF site out of the existing area and then create the residential TIF at the same time. And we've done that frequently where we excise one little area out of an existing area.
Okay. I guess the other question is I understand that we would be able to collect taxes on new residences in the TIF district, but there's a bootstrap problem. If you have a TIF district that has no residences, there's no TIF revenue to do anything. How can the bonding work under those circumstances?
Well, it's a classic, yeah, chicken and egg. You kind of go when you create a new TIF area. A lot of times you would do it kind of the way you're doing it with Mr. Kreider, where you'd ask the developer to advance the money and then hold a bond that they could get paid back once the TIF is generated from the houses.
Okay.
Otherwise, the county would have to put some kind of credit behind it because, as you say, there really isn't anything there at first, and then kind of get reimbursed later when the TIF starts materializing.
Right.
Greg may have some thoughts on that too.
Bruce, the other thought is, and we're looking up in northern Indiana, the possibility of the entity putting up some money like out of edit and then doing the county reimbursement obligation through the residential TIF. So that's kind of the third option.
Okay.
Would you agree with that, Bruce?
Yeah, absolutely. That would work very well if the resources are there.
All right. So we
And
do
it-
have
I
some
kind of think that might be seed money that might be phased in. That has a lot of options to it. Sorry.
Right. Right. So if we end up with, because we're thinking about splitting the current TIF and then being able to do another longer term project to put in a road, that road would primarily service a new residential area. But that funding for that would come from the existing commercial development of the split off TIF. Wow, it gets complicated.
I don't think that would be accurate. I think any existing structure, if you placed it in a new TIF, would have a stepped up basis. So a stepped up.
Yes, the basis would change.
So to use an existing structure, you would lose the increment
Right, that we've already got.
that you've already gotten.
Yeah, okay, I understand now. All right. Okay.
Well, did Lisa and Christy, did you guys get a chance to meet with the commissioners?
Yes, we did. So they were open to the idea of a residential TIF in the North Park area.
Okay. Just have to figure out how to make it work. Okay, well, so we got our first part of this done. We've got the Hunter Valley, we've committed the money now. We've been through the EDC. What's our next step on that, Jeff?
It goes back to the county council at its December meeting.
Okay. You know what date that is? Date and time? Would you send us the information?
Actually, this will be on the November 30th meeting of the
on
county
November
council.
30th meeting?
Yes.
Well, they're going to vote on it at their work session?
This is, I think, this item, and then they've got some employee salary ordinance things they're going to work through that night. So
That's
yeah,
2 weeks from yesterday.
yes, it was going to be at the meeting next Tuesday, but the council wanted Thanksgiving off, and I appreciate that. And so they moved that meeting to the 30th, and so that's when we've noticed.
Okay.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
all right. So we'll do that then. And then where does it go from there? Are we done then?
I think the commissioner signed the bond documents and
We're done.
it's done.
Okay, so then Steve can get started in the spring and hopefully get done within 18 months or so.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any more discussion on the residential TIF? Or anything related to North Park? I did see that the purchase by the county is now finalized. It was advertised that they actually bought the land,
Yes.
which is helpful. Do we know if we have to do anything as a result of this, trying to do this Hunter Valley project in terms of an agreement with the county for the right of way we're going to need for this project? Or how is that going to all work out? Do we have any idea about that? Probably not at this point.
My understanding is that will all be worked through once the design of and the actual where the road's going to go is worked out.
Okay.
And I think it was bought in anticipation of
Yeah.
going ahead and making sure the right of way for that road is
Okay.
there.
All right. So we're on to the next part then. All right. Nothing else on North Park type stuff? All right, let's move on to the claims then.
And I would just say, Bruce and Greg, thanks for coming. You're more than
Yes.
welcome to stick around. But I know you're busy people.
Well, thank you very much and enjoyed seeing you all.
Likewise.
Well,
Bye-bye.
thank you for your help.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Happy
happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, claims. We have claims totaling $3,047.80. There are 3 claims. One for DLZ for construction inspection on Profile Parkway for $135. One from Osser Surveying and Mapping for a surveyor's affidavit of 1801.25. Do you know what that is related to? Is that
That's related to the Curry Pike Woodyard Road project.
okay? All right. And the beam longest and Neff is that project as well?
It is for construction inspection services.
Right, for $1,111.55. And then there's also some transfers from the engineering to construction line. Is this for that same project then?
It is.
Okay, and then there's another one, which is a transfer also for the Woodyard Curry Smith
Right.
roundabout project, $5,000.
And that's actually from the engineering
Right.
construction line to the Curry Woodyard Smith roundabout line.
All right,
Basically one transfer.
right. It's from one budget into another budget into another budget.
Well, it's really the same budget, but it's just from our basic engineering construction line into that project line.
Right, okay.
Got it. So the total we have to approve is what?
We're approving $3,047.80 in claims for
I
contractors
got that.
and a
yeah.
budget transfer of $5,000 from engineering to the Curry Woodyard Smith project.
Right, got it. Okay, I move approval.
I second.
there's a motion and a second to approve the claim for $3,047.80 and the transfer of $5,000. Jeff, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Abbott,
Yes.
Commissioner Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Langley.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 5-0.
Okay. All right. Next on our agenda are the minutes for the meeting of October 20th that you received in your packet. Do we have any comments, corrections, etc.?
I read them this afternoon and I didn't see anything that was not what I thought we did.
Okay.
How's that for you?
Yep.
So
I
I
looked
move
over
approval of
they-
the minutes
they
for
look fine.
October 20th.
Okay. We have a motion.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for the redevelopment commission meeting of October 20th. Jeff, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Shelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Abbott,
Yes.
Commissioner Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Langley.
I'm going to abstain since I was not present for that meeting.
Thank you.
Motion is approved, 4-0 with 1 abstention.
Okay. All right, on to item 6, public comment. Is anybody out there from the public which would like to have a comment?
Yes, I do.
see Mike Corman is there.
Mike
Hey,
Gorman.
everybody. Yes, Mike Corman, Ellisville Fire Chief. Just want to let the commission know that the Bloomington Regional Rehabilitation Hospital, operated by Ernest Health at 3050 North Linthal Drive, within the 46 corridor, has passed all of its inspections with the state and local officials, and they will be accepting patients starting November 22nd. So I just want to let
Wow.
everybody know they're in business. They're ready to go.
Great.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very
Thank you.
good. Yep, I knew they were getting close because they flushed all of their water lines.
Yeah.
So they got a pretty good sized water bill
Yes, they do.
as well as a pretty good sized sewer bill. All right, that's good news to have that up and running. I think it's another facility in that area that will help us both in our bonding efforts and I think in the further development of that corridor.
Plus, it's good timing because the hospitals where they are now is going to be closed
Right.
Sunday, December 5th. So
In
Yeah.
about 10 days.
All right, anybody else in the public? Jeff, you got your picture up? Are you? Mr.
Yes, I'll make just a very brief comment. I'm very excited to see this bond go through, or this bond move forward. And I'm even more excited to hear that the county commissioners might be open to a residential TIF in this area. I think we need to do anything we can to increase the housing stock at all price points in Monroe County. And if North Park is where it's got to be, then North Park is where it's got to be. So I hope that momentum can continue.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. Anybody else in the public that would like to speak? Raise your hand or speak up.
This is Marty Hawk. And I'm excited about having the opportunity to grow workforce housing. We absolutely have to do something about that. When we hear that these housing is being built in the other counties surrounding us because there's just nothing here. We need them at every price point because it's not just low income housing we need every price point in order to provide housing for our entire workforce. So I'm excited about it. I'm also a little bit cautious about making sure that we have the money for our fire protection. That many housing starts will take a lot of services. And so You know, the devil's in the details, and just make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a situation where we don't have the ability to provide the services.
Yep. A good caution, Marty. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. BEDC.
Yeah, my name's Clark Greiner from a BDC. I just wanted to echo some of the comments you'd heard earlier. We're excited about the residential tip as well. We have area employers that are, that's one of the constant concerns that they have is affordable housing at all price points so that they can attract workforce locally here. So very good. We're very excited to hear that. And then also very excited about the news that Mike Corman shared with us as well about Bloomington Rehabilitation Hospital. So that's great news too. So excited for them as well.
Yep.
Thank you.
I've got too acquainted with the rehabilitation hospital situation in the county here, and it's good that we've got more services available. It was tough to find a spot when we needed to find one several weeks ago for a relative. Okay. Anybody else in the public? I don't think anybody else in the public is here. All right. Staff updates. Lisa, do you have anything for us?
I don't really have a lot. I will say that we are going to close the new Profile Parkway extension just for one day. We've been waiting for a window of opportunity to put a sealant on that roadway to improve the longevity of the roadway. So we will close it Saturday from 8 to 5, and then we'll get that back open. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all I have. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I mean, they're using it as a racetrack already?
No, actually, it seems to be going really well. And I live on the west side, so I continually see more and more people using that roadway.
Yeah.
I had dinner
Great.
with a couple of friends last week, and they had driven it and said they absolutely love it. So
Yeah, good.
Good, good.
Good.
Okay, Jeff, do you have anything else for us from the?
I don't think so. I think the task that I'm going to continue to work on is working with Jared to get some better maps of that 40 North Park TIF district, and with the assessed values, and especially focusing on the areas where we've talked about residential housing.
Right, good. All right. Commissioners, do you have any comments? Jim, start with you.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Happy
Okay.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Lisa?
to you, Jim.
No, I'm good, but also happy Thanksgiving.
Iris?
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and be careful on the road if you do drive.
And Christy?
I think she just left.
No, sir. Happy Thanksgiving. Follow the trend.
Okay. All right. And I'm going to wish you all happy Thanksgiving as well. See you next month on the 15th, I believe.
I think it's the 15th, right?
Yep, I think that's correct. And we should be in pretty good shape on the bond by then, and maybe we'll have some more information on the residential TIF opportunity. Be good to see if we can get that moving along. All right, and with that, I think we are ready to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for attending.